Happy Thursday, South Point Church. I hope you are having a great week. I wanted to continue our study in the book of James, the chapter of 2. And we're going to start in verse 8, and we're going to kind of tag off where we left on Tuesday. If you really fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, I was talking about the Bible here, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, and you are doing well. But if you show partiality, you are committing sin and are convicted by the law as transgressors. So for whoever keeps the law but fails in one point has become accountable for all of it. For he who said, "Do not commit adultery," also said, "Do not murder." If you do not commit adultery but do murder, you have become a transgressor of the law. So let us not forget, in regards to studying the scriptures and looking at the Bible, that we have to take the whole Bible, the totality of scripture, and apply it to our lives and to apply it to what we're studying. So we see here the Bible's telling us that we're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves, okay? And now this can be one of the most difficult things for us to do, because we can try to define neighbors in all different ways in our own minds. And so we could say our neighbor is someone in our family, our neighbor is our physical neighbor who lives next to us. But I think the Bible here is talking about our neighbor being anyone in our life who we come in contact with, that we are doing life with in any way, shape, or form. So these people around us are our neighbor, and we're supposed to love them. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. Now, as yourself is the important part here, because here's the reality. If we're all honest with our hearts and honest with our minds and honest with our souls, we tend to love ourselves a lot. We tend to want all things great for us. We want to always try to work situations and scenarios so they work perfect for us. Little and never do we think about our neighbor first. But that's what the Bible's telling us to do, that we're supposed to look and think about our neighbor first. Love them as you love yourself. So you can think about today how much you want your life to succeed. You can think about today how much you want your life to benefit through any scenario in your life. And that is the way we're supposed to also view our neighbor. We're supposed to love them and we're supposed to care for them. The people we're doing life with, we're supposed to want for them the same things that we want for ourselves. And I think this is important in our current situation in life. We need not to forget that we're supposed to love people well. One thing I think in my own life and my own heart, how I feel through this pandemic that we've walked through, is it's kind of turned everyone inward. And it's kind of made us think about our life, our scenario, what's happening with me, what am I doing with school, what am I doing with work, what am I doing with this, that, or whatever your case of life may be. And this is not how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to be thinking about others as we think about ourselves. We're supposed to be caring for others. So I want to challenge you and encourage you to make sure that you are loving your neighbor as yourself, because this is what is going to make us joyful, okay? And so some of us will say that you're doing that really well, but the Bible goes on to say that if you are committing one sin or another, that you have committed them all. So if you're not loving your neighbor as yourself and you're living with this selfish ambition of life, it's the same as if you committed murder or committed adultery. Sin is sin in the eyes of God, and so we have to always be pursuing Christ, forgetting those things which are behind and pressing forward to the mark of the prize of the high calling of God, always seeking to love God, always seeking to pursue God. So I don't know where you're at in your life and how you're looking at others, but during this time, please be empathetic to people. Please love people well. Please think about others just as much as you think about yourself. This is what shows the true testimony of a follower of Jesus, that we can show empathy, we can show compassion. We're not going to let things like mask or wearing mask or not wearing mask or whatever the case may be divide us, that we can be empathetic to the way the other person feels, and knowing that they have a right and they have a desire to feel the way they feel, and so we can be compassionate with that. So I just want us as the church to make sure that we're doing as the Bible teaches us to do. I hope you have an incredible Thursday. We'll see you next week.